predictions.
I genuinely believe this might be Jason Jordan's big time to shine. Here's a month, kid. Let's see how you do.
I'm trying to tell you, if AJ Styles hits that phenomenal forearm, Kevin Owens will get pinned. Reactions.
And by the way, why does John Cena have to shake the guy's hand every time he loses? And why didn't Roman Reigns turn it down?
They did such a good job of building up Braun Strowman. I believed in him as a monster. And then one F5 took him down. One F5. RWT presents Ring Psychology. Good morning, afternoon, evening. Not really sure what time it is when you are listening to this. But I am Emir Blackbane Costello, and I have with me my co-host, Mike Ebeeza, and we'd like to welcome you to Ring Psychology. How you doing tonight, Mike?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm looking forward to this show a lot more than I was maybe 24 hours ago before we recorded this. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about, isn't there? There's a lot to cover.
Yeah, we had obviously a insane breaking news, and the kind of thing that literally changes the landscape just in one fell swoop, man. And of course I'm gonna sit back here and let you take the wheel and drive this vehicle, man. Let's do it.
Okay, well I'm gonna annoy everyone listening, and I'm gonna say you're gonna have to wait for us to talk about that stuff. We're gonna go through in order. And obviously that's gonna be the main event. That was always gonna be the main event. The big news bit. So you're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to either skip through and find the appropriate bit. But we want you to listen to the whole show. It's kind of like why WWE put the main event on last. They want you to watch the whole show before it. Well,
exactly.
We want you to listen to the whole show. So you're gonna have to listen to us talk about the kickoff show to get to the good stuff. So we might as well kick off. No pun intended. I thought one of the most entertaining things before all this news came down was going to be on the pre-show, because Drew Gulak is going to present a WWE Cruiserweight Championship edition of his PowerPoint presentation. And we're not spend a long time on this, obviously, because it's not a match, but I just want to throw out, I love Drew Gulak. I love the PowerPoint presentation. And I think if you take out of the equation anyone who's been involved in the title picture, so you take out Enzo getting beaten up, which is very entertaining, and you take out Neville, who was undeniably the cornerstone of the division, Drew Gulak's by far and away the most entertaining thing on that show, I would say.
I think, from a wrestling standpoint, I've really enjoyed the work of Alexander. I don't know why I can't think of his first name right now.
Cedric
Thank
Alexander.
you.
Yeah, but I think from a wrestling perspective, I'm not denying any of them are amazing. I'm just saying I don't think many of them stand out from each other because they're all amazing in similar, if not identical ways. They're all amazing athletes and what have you. But I just think Drew Gulak, in terms of character work, is just above and beyond that show, in effect. Other than since they brought Enzo in.
Yeah, I need to catch up on my 205 Live. So I've only really had one kind of interaction with the PowerPoint presentation, and I wasn't really sure altogether what was going on. So I was like, wait, what's this guy doing? So I haven't had a chance. I love Drew Gulak in the ring. I haven't had a chance to really get initiated with the PowerPoint. So I was thinking, let me reserve and hold on to my opinion then so I guess during the kickoff show I'll get my first real chance to kind of let it sink in. But can you kind of describe for me real quick, what does he do with the presentation?
He's basically saying what should and shouldn't be happening on 205 Live, so he doesn't approve of all the flippy stuff, and he doesn't think there should be over elaborate entrances and no crowd chanting, and he's just being a wonderful heel, basically. And your homework is to go on the network and just find all the easy for me to say, Drew Gulak segments on 205 Live and just watch them before TLC, so you're up to date, because he's just outstanding. It's just
I will do that, man.
Like he'll say one week, no crowd chanting, and then during his match, he had, I can't remember for the life of me who it was, but someone come out with a microphone at the top of the ramp and kept leading the crowd in anti-Drew Gulak chants and stuff. It's heat magnetism at its best.
It's like Right to Censor, but the fun version.
It's 205 Live's Right to Censor. He's trying to censor everything that makes 205 Live 205 Live. Yeah, it's great. It's like saying, people shouldn't be doing flippy finishes and stuff. You should be keeping your feet on the ground and stuff. Yeah, he's great.
That's great advice for 205 Live.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly the point. Yeah. Also on the kickoff show though, we've got. This was a weird show before they made some changes. So it's a weirder show now, but it was such a weird show. Do you know there's like, wait, let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There were 7 matches announced for this show, including the kickoff, and 3 of them were women's matches. When does that ever happen?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Including the fact that there are no, as somebody mentioned on the page, there's no chair matches. There's no singular ladder matches, and apparently there's basically no titles being defended. What's going on here?
Yeah, it's such a weird show because like you said, there's no tables match, there's no ladder match, there's no chairs match. Which I'm not worried about there not being a chairs match because if you're gonna have a chairs match where there's no different stipulation on how to win, it's just this one weapon is legal but every other one isn't. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me that. So just make it just throw in a hardcore match for the fun of it. There's no need to make a chairs match. But besides that, it's weird that there's so few gimmick matches. There was more Hell in a Cell matches on Hell in a Cell than there are gimmick matches on TLC that are associated with tables, ladders, and chairs, which is just strange. But yeah, like I say, what's also strange is the fact that we've got one-on-one women's matches that aren't for the women's title, which is one of my big bugbears against the women's revolution. Is that the only women's matches on pay-per-view are always for the title. There's never any actual just matches. So they're taking a step in the right direction, in my opinion. And on the kickoff show, they've got Sasha Banks versus Alicia Fox. I think that should be a good match. Alicia Fox is massively underrated, in my opinion. She's a good hand in the ring. She's not. I'm not going to say she's one of the best in the division, and she needs to be in the title scene. But you can get a good match out of her.
Yeah, I think you can too. My problem with Alicia is I get it. She's supposed to be crazy and she's supposed to scream and be all over the place, but I just kind of feel like Alicia Fox would be like if Stone Cold never stopped drinking beer. If instead of at the end of the match they tossed him beer, if they just tossed him beers the entire match and he never really got to putting anybody into a move because he was so busy drinking. That's how I feel when I'm watching Alicia Fox. It's like, can you stop being crazy just long enough to actually do a move, please?
I don't know. I think I'd say take it one further and say if Stone Cold didn't have a real taste for beer, he had a real taste for toffee vodka, so he got a sugar rush at the same time. Just madness, isn't it? I feel like I'll be honest. I've not been doing the best with keeping up with TV. I've just been reading results, and this isn't some of the build-up that's stuck in my head while I'm trying to think back to what's happened in the build-up. But I just feel like Sasha Banks wins this because it's Sasha Banks and Alicia Fox. I just feel like on the totem pole of women's wrestling, Sasha Banks is several heads higher than Alicia Fox. So
I feel like this program is stupid. I don't know why they're doing it, but I also don't think that they would start something like this just to have it end in a one-off. So I'm thinking the only way to kind of keep it going is if some kind of way Alicia Fox pulls off the victory, cheating perhaps. I don't know how she does it, but let's say some kind of way she pulls off the victory and then the program continues on because Sasha needs some revenge in her life.
It's interesting as well, the fact that Asuka's clearly coming in as a face because she's going to be fighting Emma. So if she's going to tear through the roster from... I mean, I don't like to think of Emma as the lowest on the totem pole, but she's not the lowest, but you don't bring her in against the lowest. But, she's fairly low down in terms of booking, at least. But maybe Alicia picks up the win and then brags about being able to beat anyone, and she's Asuka's next victim, would be a thought as well. So there is an argument for Alicia winning. I'm sort of convincing myself to change my mind here, but... No, I'll stick with Sasha. I'll stick with Sasha just because, you know, even if Alicia Fox loses, can still go on to a program with Asuka. Maybe she could be infuriated and interrupt Asuka or something. Make some big mistake like that. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Sasha. I haven't got my notebook, by the way, so we're gonna have to remember who we say, and I'll have to write them down once we're done recording.
Yeah, so right out the gate, I mean, we're on opposite sides of the fence. So this is going to be good. I like this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good when we have differences of opinion, because then the review show's more fun when we're going, Nina, I got this right. Okay, right, on to the main card. I think that's plenty of time on the pre-show and the kickoff. The first match I've got here on WWE.com is Cruiserweight Tag Match. So, Cruiserweight Division Tag Match. Cedric Alexander himself and Rich Swann against the newly heel gentleman Jack Gallagher and the Brian Kendrick. Who, can I just say, the Brian Kendrick, when he first did the Brian Kendrick thing, do you remember back on SmackDown? And he actually ended up in the WWE title picture for a little bit.
Spanky.
I loved the Brian Kendrick so much. It was such a good gimmick, and I feel like this is a more watered down version of that gimmick. You know, it doesn't feel like it's 100% the Brian Kendrick. It feels like it's sort of halfway between the Brian Kendrick and Brian Kendrick, if you know what I mean. So, but yeah,
I think.
What do you think?
Okay, Brian Kendrick looks homeless. I don't like his jacket. I don't like the Captain Hook. It's weird how old he got. Like, I remember when he was Spanky, he was so. By the way, does he look why does he look so much taller than he used to? He used to look
in the cruiserweight division, not the WWE title picture.
Yeah,
he's big for a cruiserweight. You know, he's not big for a superstar, but he's big for a cruiserweight.
Right.
He must be at the upper limit of the 205 category. He must be 200 pounds plus. You know, just sneaking in under the 205 weight limit.
Weighing in at 203. No.
Yeah, 204 and 3/4 pounds. Brian Kendrick. Do you remember Bull? I forgot what his surname was, but Bull Fit on NXT, where he was like 299 and 3/4 pounds.
Yeah.
And he had his fitness routine. Yeah, we can do that with Brian Kendrick now.
Here's the thing. I was, from the first time I saw Jack Gallagher, I was like, oh my god, I love this guy. And I've not seen him basically at all since he became a heel. But the two guys that I love the most, and 205 Live, are Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann. And I just gotta say, man, I don't know. I don't even care about heels and faces. I'm gonna say that Rich Swann and Cedric Alexander are gonna win because I really want them to. There's no wrestling logic behind that. There's no psychology. I just want them to win so bad.
I'll be honest, I don't have a great deal of logic behind my pick either, but my pick's the opposite team, Jack and Brian, because Gallagher's newly turned heel, and I feel like they're trying to sort of build his momentum up. Now, granted, they're not going to build into a title match if Enzo's going to be in the title picture as like the top heel, you know, as champion or chaser. It doesn't really matter. That's the top heel spot on 205 Live taken, isn't it? But I think they definitely want to build on the heel turn, not squash it. So I'm going to go with Jack Gallagher and Brian Kendrick.
All right, so there we are again. We're on the opposite ends again, man.
Two for two. Are we going to disagree on this next match? The next match we're going to talk about is Asuka versus Emma. Now, I want to start on this one. I want to say...
Come on, man. Go ahead, yeah.
I want to say that I am not 100% in camp Asuka because I'll give you several reasons why I am not in 100% in camp Asuka, and those reasons are Neville, Bo Dallas, Big E. I'm trying to think who else is in. Oh, the Ascension. I'm trying to think who else have been dominant in NXT and then not been treated as dominant on the main roster. Now, granted, none of them to the extent of Asuka, and with the sort of hype that Asuka's had. You know, it was a different NXT that Asuka dominated to the one that Big E and Neville dominated. But still, you can't be 100% certain just because This is Vince McMahon we're talking about. He could be like, you know, it'd be a good swerve. Emma gets a roll-up win. You know, and you know what? I also wouldn't be 100% mad because let's face it, it's no secret I'm a mark for Emma. So let's be honest, I wouldn't even be 100% mad, but I would be a good 90% mad because I just think I just think why throw away all that work in NXT on Asuka? So I'm gonna pick Asuka, but I'm just saying I'm not 100% sold on it.
Here's the thing about Asuka. First of all, she's smoking hot. They have built her up so well. She's so believable.
Are we talking
Are
we talking momentum or are we talking about looks here?
Yeah, man, both. I'll take both.
I
believe.
I'll take momentum for Asuka, but I'll take Emma for looks. I'm afraid. I'm not doing down Asuka. I won't kick her out of bed for farting, but you know, I'll take Emma in that category.
Emma, she's a beautiful girl. I just every time she talks, I'm like, shut up, you're terrible. The thing I like about Asuka is I always like wrestlers that transcend the industry. I like wrestlers that, okay, like for instance, John Cena. I love John Cena, if for nothing else, the fact that he's bigger than the championship. Like he could be in a match that has nothing to do with the title, and that match will be more important than the title match, and that's what Asuka is.
Yeah, speaking of John Cena, we know how to do that. CM Punk says hi. Yeah. How many times did Cena main event a pay-per-view that Punk was WWE champion on? You know, it was ridiculous. But yeah,
it was.
It was one of the things that used to make me dislike Cena, funnily enough, because I feel like you shouldn't be... It's not a mistake on Cena's part, but it makes people resent Cena, the fact that they weren't capable of building Punk up to the same level where they felt they could put him in the main event over Cena, you know, or they weren't willing to put him over Cena. They were just, you know, oh yeah, we're giving you the belt, but that's just a nice prop at the moment, you know, you're holding it for Cena. But with Asuka, I don't hold that sort of resentment because she had the belt, and I assume she's going to hold the women's belt on the main roster pretty soon. Like, I would assume she's going to be Raw Women's Champion at least coming out of WrestleMania, most likely going into WrestleMania as well. You know, I would think.
I like your theories that you always talk about, you know, Vince McMahon and WWE doing a swerve just for sake of swerving, not because it makes any...
They do it every show without fail.
Yeah, and so if I match that logic with the fact that per request of Brock Lesnar, Bill Goldberg went over Brock in like remember, it was like crazy. He just like bullied him and pinned him in 37 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, yes, it's easy to go Asuka wins, and that's probably what'll happen anyways. But going off of that, man, what if the swerve comes? What if like all that undefeated and Asuka's a beast and blah 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 is just so she can make her debut and get pinned by Emma of all people? I'm taking Emma on this one.
Can I just say as well? Okay, you're picking Emma just to be contrary. I like it. I will be more than happy to see that. I'll be a little bit less happy than if Asuka wins, but I won't be unhappy. I'll be surprised if Emma wins. I'm not saying it's beyond the realms of possibility, but you know, like on these prediction shows, I always say I can picture me after that happens, and I would be surprised. That's why I have to pick Asuka. But I think people may be expecting a bit of a squash match here, and if anyone's listening, that's, you know, and they've got enough time before, you know, they're not on the last minute before TLC starts, you need to go and find the Asuka versus Emma match from NXT. I think it was on a takeover show. I can't remember which one off the top of my head, but they had an amazing match on NXT, and I'm expecting this match to potentially steal the show, because I turned you on to how Emma is actually a good wrestler, and you were like, on the review show, you were like, yeah, I'd never watched really Emma in NXT, so I didn't know she could wrestle because she's been booked so badly on the main roster, but yeah, she's a good wrestler. Man, you need to go and watch Emma versus Asuka 1, if you like, because this is Emma Asuka 2, and I think it should be good.
I'll definitely go watch it. Also, one of the really disappointing things about Emma versus Asuka Part 1 is I assume that she's going to be doing those weird motions with her hands, and the music's going to be like dun 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 dun, like, you know what I mean?
No, I think she was heel Emma by then, because Asuka came in as a face, so I'm pretty sure she already turned heel Emma.
Remember when she dated Santino?
Yeah, I really. Do you know what? I really liked the fact that goofy Emma could. I mean, I much prefer heel Emma. I think she's a lot better fitted to be in this sort of upper self kind of heel. But that face Emma, it just made me laugh out. She had such a goofy gimmick, and then she'd
so
come in
stupid.
and have the best match on the show with someone like Paige. You know, I was just like, it's brilliant the fact that this girl who's walking down to that music doing this with her hands then shows everyone up. I just thought it was really funny. I was like, fair play, because then when they did give her a match, it'd be the best one on the show, and I was like, yes, go on, Emma. You show them that goofy dancing doesn't make you a bad wrestler. And so
Exactly.
you're taking notes. You don't have to be a bad wrestler because you've got a gimmick. Speaking of Enzo, next match. By the way, we are 3 for 3 disagreeing at the moment, which is crazy. Next match, Cruiserweight Championship. Kalisto defending against Enzo, and Kalisto said on Raw after winning the title, he's really looking forward to becoming the new Cruiserweight Champion, because obviously Kalisto's a great promo guy. Can't remember if he's champion or not. But it doesn't come down to who's a better promo guy, it's who's a better wrestler and who's a better draw. And well, they're two different answers, aren't they?
Right?
I don't know. Who you got?
I got Enzo Amore coming out as the champion, and it's the Zack Ryder effect. Oh, Zack Ryder. Oh, that's the guy who never had a moment at WrestleMania. Okay, you want a moment, Zack? Here you go. Here's your big moment. And then 24 hours later, we're going to take that title right back off you. So, Kalisto, you're champion. Well, what purpose did that serve? Well, first of all, we got to stick it to Neville for him walking out, because it's like, yeah, Neville, you're going to lose tonight. Oh, that's a problem? Okay, we'll watch Kalisto win. Also, we got to put up a story about Eddie Guerrero, and the match was dedicated to him, and we worked Rey Mysterio in there, and so that all served its purpose. But now, this week, we're not talking about Eddie Guerrero, and we're not talking about Rey Mysterio. Therefore, we're not talking about Kalisto as Cruiserweight Champion.
Yeah, I agree. All of the above, everything you said. And plus, the thing is, I don't think Enzo's character, that his very very quick and very dramatic heel turn that hasn't really involved in turning on the audience, but everyone can still tell he's heel. It's an odd dynamic because he's still trying to sell his merch as a heel.
Yeah.
But I don't think his heel character works chasing a title at all. He works sitting atop the mountain, not deserving to be there, and acting like he does deserve to be there, not near the top of the mountain. You know, it's a big difference between near the top and on the top of the mountain, and I think his gimmick works so much better with everyone else chasing him and resenting him for his success.
Yeah, and you know what? That's true of probably any heel. The heel is not meant to be the one chasing. The heel is meant to be the one that finds a sly way to keep the belt from the babyface who's trying so hard to triumph it and overcome the odds and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, they got to put that belt on him because everybody's going to hate it.
I know you say that, but hey, WWE traditionally is a babyface territory. They ran with Hulk Hogan as the champion for years. Bruno Sammartino was a babyface champion for decades. You know, like, well, not decades plural, but for over a decade. And, they don't go subscribe to that. And I think most heels can still be effective heels chasing the belt. You know, I think Triple H, for example, was just as effective when he was the challenger as when he was the champion, because it just showed what levels he was willing to stoop to win back his belt. You know, so it worked both ways, but I just feel with Enzo's specific character, he has to be champion to really be over as a heel, to, be mega successful as a heel.
Yeah, I agree. So he's one of those things where, without the belt, the character just doesn't matter as much. So let's go ahead and put it back on him.
I think every so often they'll have either someone new, like, not new to the company, but new to the Cruiserweight division, like Kalisto, pop in and win the belt for a pop, and like you say, for a story on WWE.com. This one about Eddie Guerrero, next one could be about the actual wrestler himself, or it could be about someone else who's died on their birthday or anniversary, whatever. But they'll do it for a quick pop, but I think Enzo's going to dominate the title for a while, if I'm honest.
Meanwhile, somewhere Big Cass is going, This is terrible. I mean, how is this guy?
Oh man, I should have learned how to climb out of a ring properly. Yeah. Okay. Enough shade at Big Cass. Next match, the newly signed Raw superstar AJ Styles. What's he doing on the show? Taking on the Demon Finn Balor. Now, obviously, the news broke that there's been... Well, it broke that it was viral meningitis, but now I've read an article that says it might be mumps, but it's something viral that's going round, and obviously with these guys spending so much time together on the road, there's a few people on the show been affected, and one of them is Bray Wyatt, who's not cleared to compete, because obviously he's pretty sick. You know, either of those aren't a laughing matter. You know, it's not, oh, I've got a cold, I'll just down some cough medicine and get out there and have a fight. It's, you know, proper stuff, proper illness. So they've had to make a last minute change. And we're going to see AJ Styles, Finn Balor. So I don't think, much as, you know, we wish Bray Wyatt well, you know, it's like their fourth match and no one really cared about it anyway. And now we're seeing AJ versus Finn, and I don't think anyone's mad about it. I don't think anyone is upset that we're going to see that.
A couple things.
Okay,
First
are
of all,
you going to tell me you're upset that you're going to see AJ Finn?
No, it's like, it's 2017. How is anybody getting the mumps? Like, is nobody?
I don't know. But the thing is, as soon as someone's somehow exposed to it in an environment like a WWE locker room, I've had someone saying, and I agreed with them, it's amazing this hasn't happened more prominently before. You know, because they're on the road together like 300 days a year. It's sort of like if a member of my house or a member of your house got sick, everyone gets sick. You know, and I know it's taking it to extremes because it's mumps, not a cold. But still, it's that thing. You spend all your time with these people, you're going to all get sick. You know, kind of thing. That's how sickness spreads, isn't it? But, like, it's amazing.
And screw vaccinations.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing is... both of those, I don't know about meningitis, but if it is mumps, then yeah, why is it not just part of WWE's policy? We don't care if you're anti-vax or pro-vax. You need a vaccination to work for us because we don't want everyone getting sick because you're an idiot. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, like that should just be policy. Everyone should be up to date on the vaccination so that everyone else doesn't get sick. Bad for business if everyone drops to mumps, you know.
Yeah, man.
Don't want everyone having to put mumps over. Everyone already has to put Brock Lesnar over. We don't want two guys like that, you know.
Exactly. And speaking, let's look at this. You mentioned Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor. This was going to be number 4. It's kind of interesting to see a feud like this that just kept finding ways to get worse. Like the fact that we're not going to see Sister Abigail, this is WWE's chance to go, well, man, let's just not even mention it again because that was going to be terrible.
Let's pretend that never happened. Let's edit the segments out of Raw on the network and let's just pretend that didn't happen. Let's pretend that we weren't going to see a transvestite versus a guy dressed as a pumpkin for Halloween. Like,
if only
it was just like, oh, let's pretend we weren't going that way. Because look, I have nothing against transvestism and stuff like that, but does that add to Bray's character? Him suddenly being a demonic female? No, it did not. Does that mean
No.
Does that mean Bray's in line for a women's title match if he wins this? Because now he's, you know, gender neutral? No, he's still a male wrestler. Like, let's just not touch that unless we're going to introduce a new character that is going to play that character and probably live that lifestyle and go all out with it. You know, like you have to go all. You can't just be like, oh yeah, this is Bray Wyatt in a dress. You know.
You know what would have been great is if Bray had gotten the mumps way back at Payback, and it would have somehow stopped the House of Horrors match too. I mean, these diseases would have saved his career, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I don't know about that. They seem determined to make him into the new Dank the Clown at the moment, don't they? I just feel like I don't understand WWE's logic with this feud going on. I know they need a placeholder, you know, for the likes of Finn and Bray to keep getting on pay-per-views and keep having matches, but seriously, guys, no one cared about the first one. Why are we now on a fourth one? You know, so, but we're not on a fourth one now. We got AJ Styles, which, incidentally, I'm assuming he's not interested in the US title now because he seems to be going after Finn Balor all of a sudden. But I understand why they've added AJ and why they've made the decision they have in the main event. You know, it's because that headline draws people in. Whereas if they just said, "Oh yeah, Finn Balor's going to take on Jason Jordan, and we're going to add Curtis Axel into the main event," it probably wouldn't have created the buzz. You know, wouldn't have made up for the stars that are missing. Let's be honest. So, yeah. Anyway, who do you think is going to win, Finn Balor or AJ Styles?
First of all, SmackDown makes them and Raw takes them, and now they've taken the guy who made that statement.
Can I just say, do you actually? I know you're cracking a joke there, but do you actually think AJ's going to stick around on Raw, or is this just a one-off appearance?
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a one-off, but it's the fact that because now he could say this is what he could say now. He can go back to SmackDown and be like, "Yeah, sorry, you guys had to see that, but clearly I had to bail out Raw because they can't get their stuff together over there."
Or he could go the other route and say, "Look, when Raw was short on superstars, they looked at SmackDown and they picked me, not you, Baron Corbin, me." You know, kind of thing. Like, you know, they can be like, they picked the true star, not you, Jinder Mahal. He could transition into a feud with Jinder out of this because he could be like, "Look, Jinder, they didn't come knocking for you. You might have challenged Brock Lesnar, but Raw didn't come and cherry pick you. They came and cherry picked me when they needed a star on the show. Give me your title." You know?
Exactly.
So, I think Finn's going to win. A couple of reasons. One, I don't think AJ gets hurt at all from eating a pin in a match like this, whereas I think Finn is struggling. You know, he's in limbo a little bit at the moment, and I think the win will do him the world of good. Also, it's Finn's show. I feel like the Raw guy's going to win because it's on a Raw show. Why build up a SmackDown guy on a Raw show? It doesn't make sense. So I'm going to side with Finn. And also, he's the Demon, and the Demon wins in WWE. Like, I don't feel like they're willing to end the Demon's win streak.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you 100%. I was literally going to say the same thing, which is that AJ Styles can take a loss here. It doesn't hurt him at all. It doesn't do anything bad to him. Meanwhile, Finn, they're trying to get him ready for, you know, Brock Lesnar or whatever this bigger thing that's going to be happening in the future. And if he takes a loss, especially to a SmackDown guy, really hurts his credibility. And plus they're old time buds. I think it's gonna be a fantastic match, and it's a shame it'll be a one off. But I'm with you, man. I think Finn takes the win.
Yeah. Do you think we could see a not necessarily a full reunion, but a little spot with the club? They're not on the card, and you know they're obviously closely associated with both of these men. Do you reckon they could appear at any point? Or even in a backstage segment beforehand with them both, or something?
I saw somebody mention on the page that they're betting that Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows somehow gets involved, and there's some callback to the club. I don't know.
If they form the Balor Club officially, you know, for the first time, the Balor Club actually has more than one person in it. I know it's meant to be the fans, but come on, you can't call yourself a club on your own. I think it'd be interesting if they form the Balor Club with Gallows and Anderson as a way of building up the threat of Finn Balor to Brock Lesnar, if that's the way they want to go before WrestleMania. It'd certainly make it more of a threat to have two big guys one big guy and one Carl Anderson on the outside supporting him. You know, it'd even the odds slightly. I know that's usually a heel tactic, but New Day have proven you can pull it off as a face.
Exactly, and I would love every bit of that. So I would welcome an appearance by the club. It's like one of those golden opportunities. Why not? Especially if you want to kind of stick it to the Bullet Club a little bit more after taking Too Sweet away from them. You can kind of like, but our club can still do it.
yeah, we can call them the club, and you can't do anything about it, even though it's an obvious reference. Especially in the Balor Club. I mean, come on, say it quick enough. It is Bullet Club. But,
and it has bullets. When he says Balor Club, if you look at the logo, there's bullets all around Balor.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous how much they can push copyright law because they have the best lawyers.
It's like where's the cease and desist in that situation?
Yeah, the cease and desist is being squashed by their lawyers. You know, like because they're just too rich at the moment. WWE, aren't they? Not rich enough for Pyro, but rich enough to faff about annoying Bullet Club. So whatever. But yeah, I think we both agree Finn's gonna win. Is that no, the second match that we both agreed on, because we both agreed on Enzo as well. So we're getting more cohesive as we go forward. Raw Women's Championship: Alexa Bliss versus Mickie James. Alexa wins.
Done.
Next. No, I don't know. Yeah, it seems pretty cut and dry to me. It seems a bit like the same as when Mickie came in to take on Asuka in NXT. It was like, well, this is clearly just to give Asuka a veteran to get a win over, to add a name to her list. And to me, adding names to Alexa Bliss's list until she eventually runs into Asuka now. You know, it's about building up your champion, not flip-flopping your belt about until Asuka comes and takes it off. Well, the fans don't care who, because they don't even know who's got the belt at the moment. They've got to build Alexa, and then beat Alexa using Asuka. To me, that's the way you've got to go. Anything else is really illogical, really counterintuitive to do.
Yeah, and I suspect it's going to be a good match because Alexa has been really driving home the point of like, you're so old, and let me know when you're done hanging out with your friend Betty White and blah blah blah. And so I think it's going to be one of those matches where like Mickie James is going to almost get her several times, but of course I think Alexa will find a way to pull it out. And I really think that if Mickie James won, the crowd would be like, really? Like, everybody wants Alexa to win. In spite of that terrible "This Is Your Life" segment that she was a part of, people really like Alexa.
Yeah. You just made me think of something. Do you ever watch Family Guy?
All the time.
Right. Do you remember there was an episode where Tom Tucker, the news guy, started dating Peter's mum?
Yes, I remember.
And he goes, I don't see what the problem is. What's the problem, Ollie Williams? And he goes, lady's old. And that just sprung into my head when you said about her being old. I almost just interrupted you and blurted out, lady's old. It just popped into my head, and I was like, oh my god.
I love Ollie Williams, by the way.
Ollie Williams is I've said for years that Ollie Williams is the best Family Guy character if you measure it on number of words said against number of times people have laughed. Because
I agree.
Ollie Williams says about 2 words, and the first time you see it, you always lose it. You always just end up laughing like uncontrollably and have to rewind it because it's just like out of left field every time. So yeah, Ollie Williams is the funniest character on Family Guy, confirmed.
Who wants this dog?
Who wants this dog? It's raining sideways. Yeah, I love. Yeah, Ollie Williams is the best character on Family Guy, confirmed on this wrestling podcast. You heard it here first.
Excellent.
And that's our nice little KFC advert to segue into the main event. You know, that's like WWE break it up with a stupid which legend's going to be Colonel Sanders this time KFC advert. We segued with a Family Guy bit. So yeah. By the way, did you officially agree that Alexa's going to win, or are you going to call Mickie? I don't think you actually officially picked. I know you agreed with what I said, but is that your official
I am
pick?
always going to love Mickie James for her trying to stick her hands on Trish Stratus's vagina and doing like the like the tongue thing, and like that whole like when she first came out, and she was like,
Mickie James was just the best thing ever.
Dude, I was like, I don't remember how old I was, but I was like, dude, I want her, like I will attack her.
Oh my god.
And I'm never gonna forget that Mickie James, but you know, she's grown up some. She's a golden girl. So no, yeah, I'm going Alexa.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Wow. All right, main event. Here's how the main event has gone for me. They announced the 3-on-3 TLC match, and I was like, that will be amazing. And you know what would be even more amazing? WWE 2K18 has 3-on-3 TLC matches. Oh my god, my match simulation for that is going to be amazing. Never mind the match itself. And then they were like, oh, and we're going to chuck Braun Strowman in. So I was like, they're going to chuck my favourite wrestler into a match just as like an afterthought, and they've made it worse by adding my favourite current wrestler. Like, not the best current wrestler, my favourite, just before anyone jumps on a high horse there. Like, I enjoy what Braun Strowman does 100% of the time. You know, and I was like, okay, I'm actually less hyped about this now that Braun's involved. That's the first time I've said that, at least this year. You know, and then they were like, oh yeah, and we've chucked Kane in. Alright, okay. And the rumor was that Kane's getting involved because he wants to get even for the Undertaker, for Roman retiring the Undertaker. But now Roman's not in the match because he's ill, and Kane still is. And now they've chucked Kurt Angle in, who I didn't even know was match fit. And I know they've done it because, hey, look at this name, and because there's 8 people in the match, so they can protect him pretty well. He doesn't have to take a big bump. But, it's just... Oh, this is just a cluster bleep. It's just ridiculous. What's going on with this match? As excited as I am to see Kurt Angle wrestle in the WWE ring for the first time in over 10 years, or whatever it's been, I'm not excited for this match. I was excited for the original 3-on-3 match, and then everything they've done since has made me less excited, including adding Braun Strowman and adding Kurt Angle. Come on. How can you add those 2 to a match and make it less exciting?
Well, here's the thing. They always have that thing where they're like, card is subject to change, and boy, did this card change.
I get the Roman Reigns for Kurt Angle changes beyond their control, but that doesn't mean I can't complain a little bit about it. But they'd already ruined the match before that happened. I'm actually, I'm arguably looking forward to it a little bit more now just because I get to see Kurt Angle wrestle than I was when it was the Shield. Just because, 5-on-3, what are you doing? Why is that a thing? Why is Braun Strowman in this match? Braun Strowman was finally finished with Roman Reigns. He was no longer saying, I'm not finished with you yet. He was finished. He was beating up small guys and chasing Kurt Hawkins around arenas. It's fine. Stand him back, let him do that until you've got something else for him. Keep
facts. Those are the facts.
Yeah, those are facts, exactly. And then Kane's apparently taking a quick break from running for mayor to put on a mask and climb out through a floor in a cage.
That's the part I don't get. Okay, if you're like, hey, I used to dress up like a demon in a wrestling ring, but now I don't do that. I'm a serious politician. And then in the middle of your campaign, you go, maybe just one more time with a mask.
Yeah. Do you know what it feels a little bit like, this match? It feels a little bit like desperation. It smells of desperation. It smells of WWE seeing the ratings drop and seeing the fact that they've had to cancel Pyro and and stuff like that. And they're thinking, okay, what can we do? Right, the fans want a Shield reunion. Let's reunite the Shield. Hey, bonus, we might get Roman cheered a little bit as well. So double whammy. Okay, right, that's not fully worked. So we'll put them in the main event in a 3-on-3 TLC match. Because remember the 3-on-3 TLC match with Daniel Bryan, Kane, and Ryback at TLC, whatever year the Shield debuted? Even with Ryback involved, that was an amazing match. So, okay, so there. Oh, wait, the ratings aren't just shooting up, aren't spiking. Right, everyone loves Braun Strowman, chuck him in. Okay, ratings still haven't spiked. Let's bring Kane back. And, and it's like, one, stop trying to just spike the ratings. You need to build a story. And people will come back eventually when all their friends that are still watching are like, no, dude, it's actually really good now. That's what you need. You need the current fans that are still watching to be like, this is a really good product. That's what you need, and to be telling their friends, you need to get back into it. It's really good. Not, get a headline that Kane's back. And 2, have they forgotten how to build hype? Kane? Do you know what I mean? Kane, really? Good. I just don't understand it. I don't get any of the. I understand the thought process. I just don't understand why anyone had it.
This is easily the most nostalgic match of all time. The only match that comes close to rivaling this match, by way of nostalgia, would be Triple H versus Sting, when the old the old guys of the NWO came out, and then D-Generation X came out, and they all wiped each other's slobber and helped each other down to the ring. Oh, you grab my walker, I'll grab your cane.
By the way,
Kane, look at that, Kane.
Much as I somewhat agree, I was there for that, and I marked out so hard every time a piece of music hit that I was not expecting. So I'm gonna be honest, I marked out hard for that. But it was a surprise. It wasn't like, oh yeah, we've announced this 5-on-3 tables, ladders, and chairs match with someone running for mayor. Three champions. It's just and we've chucked Kurt Angle in because Roman Reigns is ill. It's like, stop chucking people like Kurt Angle into situations that are barely advertised. Do you know what I'm hoping for? Best case scenario, Daniel Bryan has already tweeted about Kurt Angle getting back in the ring. I want to see Team Angle versus Team Bryan with both of them medically cleared at Survivor Series, because Daniel Bryan's on-screen character pesters Vince McMahon's on-screen character to clear him, and it's a little thing where we don't know that behind the scenes they've cleared Daniel Bryan. Because I listened, I finally caught up with the Edge and Christian podcast. Daniel Bryan has stated on there's not a doctor that he's seen that said he's not clear to compete. Like, he's not able to compete. There's not a single doctor, not even the WWE doctors, have said he can't compete with his concussion history. It's, so, like, come on, clear the man.
Yeah, they got the owner of Ring of Honor who's like, yeah, we'll have him. We'll take him. We'll take him back. Daniel Bryan, we'll have him.
Daniel Bryan,
he's all over it.
If you allowed him to wrestle, would stay in WWE until he does retire fully, and never appears again on TV. He would stay with WWE. He loves the WWE audience. His roots are at Ring of Honor, but he knows what WWE did for him. He would stay if they would let him wrestle. The only reason he's talking about leaving is because he can wrestle somewhere else when he can't wrestle in WWE. So let him wrestle. Let the man wrestle. Let the man wrestle Kurt Angle. And yeah, if you want to protect them both, because they're not both... Like, Kurt Angle's not in the best shape of his career. Everyone knows that. Daniel Bryan isn't in the best shape of his career because, obviously, he's had injuries since the best shape of his career. But put them in a multi-man match. They can both take, a couple of soft bumps, and it'll be a good match. It doesn't have to be a big one-on-one, fall off the Hell in a Cell like Shane match. It can just be a multi-man match, and everyone will flock back who was a fan of the Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 30 moment that's lost interest since. Everyone. So
what I was just thinking?
That's what I'm hoping for coming out of this, is that it somehow becomes an inter-brand feud where Daniel Bryan gets back in the ring as well as Kurt.
Yeah, I was just thinking, man. Where's this pay-per-view gonna happen? Like, is it in Texas somewhere? I can't remember.
Where is Minneapolis, Minnesota?
Okay, so that's where Brock Lesnar lives. Okay, so when you live in Minneapolis,
Brock Lesnar lives in Canada, if you remember.
Oh, Canada. Oh, okay.
Canada. I think he owns about 3/4 of Canada or something.
I know, he just keeps buying more and more land.
Up there, yeah.
Just throw 3 elk on top of that. If you have a ticket to this show that's going to take place at the Target Center, you're thinking to yourself, holy crap, I knew this was going to be a good decision. I get to be in the house when Kurt Angle returns to the freaking ring. That must be so cool.
Yeah, much as I said at WrestleMania 30, I love Brock ending the streak because I was here. And much as, like, at 31, I loved the Triple H Sting match because I was there. I'm not sure how well it'll translate to pay-per-view. Like, it's the same thing. I was there for both of those things, and I can appreciate maybe they didn't translate as well to the TV audience as they did to the live audience. Which is a lot more people. Let's be honest, there's a lot more people watching on pay-per-view than you can fit in an arena. So, it's still questionable, isn't it? Yeah, it gets a pop from the live crowd. It doesn't always pop the home crowd. Yeah, that live crowd lead the home crowd somewhat, but they don't always follow. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing Kurt Angle back in the ring. I just wish it meant a bit more.
Yeah, I agree. But so now here's the thing.
Oh, and by the way, can I just say, logic flaw, Kurt Angle is outnumbered in a 3-on-5 handicap match alongside 2 men he's never teamed up with before. He has a son who is not on the card. His son has a new friend called Matt Hardy who is not on the card. Hello, Kurt. Like, why would you not even the odds up and make it 5-on-5? Like, logically, not, I want to see more people in this match. In kayfabe, why is Kurt Angle not announced himself and his son and Matt Hardy joining the Shield on this match?
Here's even...
Just why would you be like, yeah, I'll go into a 3-on-5 match in my first match in this company in 10 years when I'm let's say significantly less than my physical peak. This sounds like a good idea. 2 of the men are nearly 7 foot tall, not a problem. Like, come on, you're outnumbered by 2 7 foot tall men. Like, bring someone else.
Here's some more.
Someone else.
The logic flaws continue when you take into consideration that this match is so stacked against him because he allowed it to be booked that way when he didn't think he was going to be a part of it.
Exactly. He's like, yeah, I've got no problem with the Shield fighting 3-on-5, but now he's in it. He should be like, hold up.
Yeah.
I mean, and also, if my theory of them slowly but surely turning Jason Jordan heel and being this, eventually being entitled Daddy's Boy, hello, put him in the main event of a pay-per-view when he's not earned it. It's just because his dad wants him there with him. Hello, next step.
Dude,
Do you know what I mean? Do it.
You just did something incredible, and you don't even realize it, but I'm ready to make my official prediction.
That they're going to add those people to the match.
No.
Okay.
Even better.
Shoot.
I think
Because I still don't know who I'm picking, so go on.
3-on-5. I think Seth Rollins is down, Dean Ambrose is down, and they are just picking Kurt apart because he's the general manager. You might not get another chance to punch this guy in the mouth. And that's when we hear the music. Jason Jordan's music hits, and he comes running down to the ring. You think to save his father from certain death, shall we? And then he gets down there.
But you think Jason Jordan's going to turn at this show? Like,
I think
in a match that wasn't booked yesterday, you think Jason Jordan's they're gonna pull the trigger on that? I mean, granted, when they make last minute decisions and last minute changes, they do tend to make them dramatic, and try and shock everyone by swerving them. But wow, that's a big change to programming to make.
There's a swerve, yeah. Jason Jordan standing in front of his father, with Braun Strowman and Kane and everybody staring right down and staring at him, and then Kurt Angle makes it back to his feet.
Kicks him right between the legs. Enzo's in.
I want Kurt Angle to make it back to his feet, like he's gonna stand with Jordan, and then right when they get ready to fight, Jason Jordan grabs Kurt Angle and hits him with the Olympic/Angle Slam, and then Kurt gets pinned, and then.
Oh, is it a pin, by the way, or are they going to dangle something random above the ring? Because there's nothing on the line, but TLC matches traditionally you pluck something down.
I'm thinking it's a pin in this case, and if you do that, you can then bring Kurt back proper, and what better way to bring him back than in a one-on-one feud against himself, essentially, against his younger self.
Who's better to fight Kurt Angle than Kurt Angle? Yeah, no,
right.
I get you. I don't think that's gonna happen. I like your thinking. I like your fantasy booking. I don't necessarily think it's gonna happen. I think if we could possibly get the build to the Angle versus Bryan Survivor Series match, maybe Jordan could turn in that, because Angle's obviously going to pick his son on his team in that match, and I feel like that would be a good point to turn. I'm still not convinced they're going to turn Jason Jordan on Kurt Angle. Let's not forget how good of a heel Kurt Angle is. Let's not forget that they could turn them both together.
Can I just make one quick complaint about Kurt Angle? Just really quick. It's not his fault, but if you look at, you have Kurt Angle on WWE 2K18, right?
Yeah.
The fact that young Kurt Angle is just old Kurt Angle with a hairpiece, that really pissed me off. Like,
right, they've been doing that for years. Go back, I've not looked at it on 2K18, so I can't vouch for it, but put 2K17 back in your system and load it up and make a triple threat match between current Undertaker, American Badass Undertaker, and Vintage Undertaker. And you tell me there's a difference in their faces. You tell me they've remodeled the face, and I will call you a liar, because they have not. It is the same character model with different clothes and different hair.
That's what's so stupid. It's like, he doesn't even look like that.
So stupid. And Stunning Steve Austin is just Stone Cold with hair as well. I've noticed that.
Exactly. Yeah, they just put, it's like,
lazy.
Come on, man. You guys have all the footage. You could do it. Like, let's not literally.
They managed to make Mr. Perfect. They managed to make
people who aren't even alive. They make them.
Yeah, they managed to make them look pretty good. So how can you not make Stunning Steve Austin and American Badass Undertaker and, like, say 2001 Kurt Angle? Like, how can you not? Oh, I don't know. I mean, have you seen the CM Punk that's gone up on Community Creations? Someone who owns the game, who doesn't work for 2K, made a better CM Punk than they made Kurt Angle.
Like, you know,
Same
so you
thing
don't
last
Kurt
year.
Angle.
The CM
Yeah.
Punk I had from last year was literally spot on.
Oh,
It was
no,
amazing.
if you've not seen it, the one this year, I've not downloaded it. I've just seen it on Facebook or Twitter or something. It is. It doesn't even look like last year. It was a very, very good create a superstar, create a wrestler, whatever you want to call it. This year, it looks like 2K made him. It looks like he's been scanned. It's crazy detailed. He's got the bags under
All
his
the
eyes.
tattoos and everything.
He's got the bags under his eyes spot on. Like facially, it looks, and they've made several attires for it. So you've got Wolverine Mutton Chops Punk, and you've got Skinhead Heel Punk when he was with Paul Heyman. You've got Best in the World versus John Cena Punk, and they all look spot on. You know, like
Remember those?
It's so
Remember the
good.
Yankees? Remember the Yankees tights that he wore?
Yeah,
Those were so cool.
yeah. I think my favorite Punk attire from that heel era was his Bret Hart tights. I really liked his pink and black tights. They were cool.
Oh yeah, that's some good stuff, man. I miss CM Punk.
Yeah, I mean, I would miss CM Punk a lot more if I had any inclination that he had any intention of coming back if he missed WWE. But people saying, "Oh, I want CM Punk back all the time," and I'm like, yeah, but he doesn't want to be back. So even if they offered him a ridiculous amount of money that he couldn't say no to, you wouldn't get 2011 fired up CM Punk. You'd get 2013 ready to walk out CM Punk, and I don't want to see that CM Punk again. You know, like, let's face it, CM Punk was cruising towards the end. He was pretty pants, like, especially by his standards. You know, so I don't want to see that again. If he reignites the passion, I'm all for it. But until that, I don't want CM Punk back. And I'm one of the biggest CM Punk marks ever. Like, I love CM Punk. I loved him. I watched him from Ring of Honor all the way through. I even watched him in TNA. I even started watching TNA when Punk went to TNA.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
You are
exactly.
a fan.
I went to Extremes. But yeah, so anyway, official prediction. So are you going with Team Miz, for want of a better term, to win because of Jason Jordan? Is that your official prediction?
Yeah, I felt like this whole match was never about a Shield reunion. This was about finding a big way to put Roman over. And now that Roman's not in the match, and the Shield is not technically reunited any longer, there's no need for them to get the win. So yeah, I'm going with Team Miz.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Team Miz for a different logic. I'm going to go with Team Miz because I think the Miz and Braun Strowman could seriously use the continuation in momentum. You know, the Miz has been made to look fairly weak by this whole Shield reunion thing. And Braun Strowman obviously just ate the loss to Brock Lesnar. You know, yes, he put up the best fight probably anyone's put up against Brock Lesnar one-on-one, except maybe Roman Reigns. But he still ate one F5 and got pinned, so he needs to continue to be rebuilt up. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins can afford to eat a pin. It's not the Shield, so like you say, it's not as important that they don't eat the pin. Kurt Angle, hey, he's been out for 10 years as far as WWE is concerned because they don't acknowledge TNA. So, like, he can afford to eat a pin there as well. I think the Bar could do with the win, you know, especially if they're going to continue feuding with Ambrose and Rollins going forward. I just feel like, other than Kane, everyone on Team Miz needs that win a bit more than anyone on the Shield team.
No, Kane needs it too, because when his opponent for governor is like, oh yeah, while I was running a campaign, you were too busy, with your mask on, wrestling with your buddies. Kane needs to be able to say, but I won.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, how many TLC matches have you won? Shut up.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think I'm going to agree with you, and that takes the total to 3 disagreements between us: the kickoff show, the cruiserweight tag match, and Asuka versus Emma. Which, oh man, if you win this predictions because Emma wins, I'm going to be so mad, because that is a 99% Asuka win. That is, and like I say, I'm not convinced it's not a lock, but it's as much of a lock as there is on the card. Oh no, it's not. Alexa Bliss is a lock. Let's be honest. But Asuka Emma's second. And if you win the predict, I will only be mad if Emma wins if it gives you the win in the predictions. If it doesn't affect our little predictions game, I will be fine.
I can't wait to rub it in your face. That's what's gonna be the best part.
Oh god, I'm not. You know what? We're not doing a review show if Emma wins. I just refuse. I'll just deny your Skype calls.
So that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Let me just recap all that, because we talked a lot and we took a few tangents as we do. Let me just run it down for people who've got the attention span that I have and might have already forgotten. So, kickoff match, I picked Sasha, you picked Alicia Fox. I think you're right there. I'm not going to lie. I think you're going to win that one. Cruiserweight tag match, you picked the faces, I picked the heels. Asuka, Emma, I picked Asuka, you picked Emma. And then the Cruiserweight Championship match, we both picked Enzo. We both picked Balor to beat Styles. We both picked Bliss to beat Mickie James. And we both picked Team Miz to win the TLC match. That's that. That's what's going to happen at TLC. You guys don't need to watch it now. You've heard us tell you what's going to happen.
That's right, you guys. You've heard our predictions. What are yours? When this video gets posted up, let us know what you think in the comment section, and we can go back and forth on why we are right and you are wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, don't forget to send us heaps of praise over on Twitter when these things start to happen when you're watching the show. I don't know about you, Emir, but I'll be watching live and live tweeting the whole thing. So go and follow me at WWEBEZA. I'll Americanise that. WWE Ebeeza is the profile. Put it in the description, Emir. It'd be great.
I definitely will. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us for this TLC predictions show. Of course, immediately following the pay-per-view, Mike and I will be recording the TLC reactions show. So we will see then. And
that's always fun, because I get up on average 6-7 o'clock in the morning, and the pay-per-view here finishes at like 4:30 in the morning. So I'm at the point of delirium by that point, so it's always fun, the review show. Because I'm like, dude, did you see that big purple elephant? I was like, because I am so tired, I am seeing things. So yeah, it should be fun.
Yes, it will be a fun time, man. And thanks, Mike. I really, I love this show, man. I love doing this show with you. It's a lot of fun, and I appreciate your time, my man.
I enjoy it too. I love coming on this show and just chatting wrestling. It's what I like to do.
So that's our show for tonight, guys. We'll go ahead and let you go, and we will see you after TLC for our reactions.